greatest of rappers. I pull my ego aside, be the first to admit it. I tell them technically speaking, people be holding you backwards. They say they're keeping it real, but I can tell that you did it. When you speak it from the heart, you know it's hard to fall apart, boy. From the start, I never cared about the charts, boy. You're mad at me for thinking I'ma be the lesser man, but little do you know I probably came up with a better plan. I'm shattering the stereotype, show you how to delegate. The one to say it twice, rather meditate. You're popping bottles with your models when you celebrate, but tell me when you're done, then I can show you how to elevate. Take you to the next level. I'm not a daredevil, just a renegade about to set the record straight and hoping for the day I die so I can see the heavyweights like Hootie, Simone, Basquiat, Holiday. Rappers in the game and what they're rapping to us. Shit they wanna claim that never happened to us. You're thinking that you're great, you're only average, homie. I bet you think you're butterflies, to me you're caterpillars. Man, I'm grown, I don't fuck with your trends, and I'ma live till I'm 110. On what's a man to a friend, what's a soul to a keep? If I don't speak from the heart, then why the fuck should I speak? Check it, I went through hell to find the book of life and read it through the last chapters. Smoke a J like I'm a jam master, just before I crumble like a sandcastle. They don't miss you, the fucking brothers up like Lannisters. Get it? I'm in my own section, sitting streets, I know the pressure. I hit the town, I found graffiti filled with stolen treasures, and then I realized the rules are never changing though. I'm really trying hard to make it though, cause yesterday was not for me, but nowadays it's all for me. So when I'm moving time, you know I'm moving very cautiously, and even though I'm cautious, I'm known to do shit so properly. After I am done, them boys be like, nah, this is not for me. This cinematic experience brought to you by Lead Hammer and the Beats. Yeah. Lead Hammer and the Beats. You see, yesterday was not for me, but nowadays it's all for me. So when I'm moving time, you know I'm moving very cautiously, and even though I'm cautious, I'm known to do shit so properly that after I am done, them boys be like, nah, this is not for me. I take some time with all my reparations. I know, payback time, this ain't for preparations. They know, ain't got time for all your hesitations. And this is rap, boy, this is not a dissertation. Game is up for grabs and you can take it, that's what Aaron told me. You can make it last, cause that's what Aaron told me. Somebody tell the boys that we be taking over. I'll be coming home from all this after parties, barely sober, trench coat, white socks, killing with my Snickers on. I never left the house without my Snickers on. You should know the story before you speak upon me, and you should know the man in which you snitch upon. Dorian's grave, just a name, I'm not a martyr though. I'm sipping champagne with a girl down in Monaco. They never had no breakfast at Tiffany's, but now we got them Tiffany for breakfast.
Good everybody, welcome to this edition of MoftMinds. I just cut myself fidgety for a second. It is a beautiful Friday night in Bergen, and we find ourselves actually in the auditorium, this time in the House of Literature. And today we have someone I have been trying to get my hands on, well, not literally, obviously, for a long time. And it just gives me such pleasure to have her on this edition of MoftMinds today. Her name is Siri Roiseth. I hope I said that correctly.
Yeah, very good.
And she's going to be here today to talk about a bunch of things. The first thing I want to say is, why is Siri here? For anyone who's been paying attention, this season of MoftMinds has just been designed to showcase people who have decided to go against the grain, and people who decided to do, you know, pretty much their heart desires as opposed to what society tells them to do. Siri happens to be one of those kind of people, and I'm a big fan of her work, first and foremost, and I figured it would be best for us to actually have a conversation with her concerning how she goes about her new line of occupation, which is art. How's it going, Sarah?
Thank you. It's good. Thank you so much for the introduction.
Yeah, you're welcome. Super intro. Yeah, I got to ask. The first time I saw your work, I said to myself, like, wow, that's a breath of fresh air right there. Because every time I see, well, at least most of the times I see street art in Bergen, they usually kind of have the same tone or the same vibe going for them, that dark humor type thing, obviously inspired by Dolk or Banksy at that.
Yeah.
I want to say, when did you start doing this?
I've always loved to draw, and I have also education as an illustrator. And I think one of the breaking points with starting to do art was maybe a couple of years ago, 2-3 years ago, we bought a van.
Okay.
And we converted it so we could travel, me and my boyfriend, we could travel in the van. And we went 4 months in Europe. I took some time off work and we traveled. And I just felt like my mind, my creativity just opened up. So then I felt really inspired to just make things. I wanted to paint more and draw more. And when we came back, I was thinking, okay, I want to do this more, travel in the van. And one day I put some artwork online. Mm-hmm. And the crazy thing was people I didn't know wanted to buy it.
Okay.
So that was a different turning point. So then I was starting to think okay, what if I can sell my art and live in the van?
So this madness pretty much started after a 4-month trip in Europe.
Yeah.
What did you see when you were out there? What was it? Because it's usually, we see all forms of art. And it's usually that one art that strikes a chord, inside of us and says, okay, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
What was it you saw on these trips that told you that's the thing right there?
Yeah, I think it was just being a lot outside and just the freedom with living in a van. Every day you can do whatever you want.
That's crazy.
Just that feeling of freedom just made me
Okay, so if I remember correctly, if I know correctly, you actually you studied illustration first in Christiana, and then you switched up to international marketing at BI.
Yeah, that's correct.
So did you go straight to work after these things?
Yeah.
What was your first job?
I worked for 3 years in insurance company.
Okay. Which one? Which insurance company?
Trig.
Yeah, my girlfriend works at that.
Oh, she does?
Yeah,
wow. Okay, we need to talk more about that.
Yeah.
Cool. No, so I worked there for 3 years and was doing customer service and things like that. So yeah, it was, I love the place and it's a really good job, but I also felt I want to be more creative, and I was little by little figure out my dream, and then small things happened, and yeah.
Wow, that's but what about, because the thing about art is this, is we always say no one really needs a painting when you think about it. You have to see something and be oh, I need that.
Yeah.
And not just that. Now you just coming into the game, what about the bills though? How, because a lot of people would say then how'd you cover the bills? Because that's something artists never tend to talk about or think about. But the truth is, you still got to pay your bills.
Yeah, of
course. Weren't you scared? Weren't you how are we going to keep it together?
Yeah, last year, or when I quit my job, I had enough saved so that I could live 1 year without making any money. Okay. Because also, I rented out my apartment, and so with renting out the apartment and staying in the car, it wasn't that expensive. And so I had 1 year to figure it all out. So if I didn't make any money, it would still be okay for 1 year.
Oh, so you
so I had
So you pretty much did like a 1-year sabbatical experiment. You say, all right, let me see what happens here. If I don't make any money, I'm done with this, you know?
Yeah.
Which is good to say, because I think a lot of people just make that mistake. I think so anyways, you know, where it's this thing people say, follow your passion, follow your dreams. And that's true.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But sometimes, you know, it's good to have a plan B.
Of course.
Just in case it doesn't work out.
Because then you will feel so much pressure. Like if I had to sell like one picture every day to not go back to Trygg, like it would be too much pressure. And then again, I need like freedom to have to be creative and
So when you were growing up in Østerøy, which is where you're from, did you feel like you were meant to do bigger things, or did you just say, you know what, I'm just going to stay here? Because you eventually left. Yeah. Right?
I left to study. I think it's a good thing when you are from like a really small place to just go like abroad or into the city and study or work and
What was the art scene like in Østerøy? Was it blooming or was it just, you know?
Oh, I don't really remember. I don't think like there like a street art thing.
How did you discover it? How did you see it the first time?
Definitely traveling.
It was just traveling?
Definitely traveling. And I just loved to see street art when I was traveling to big cities. I love to see like the big walls with all the colors and
the murals.
And like also like stickers and paste ups and everything. So got very inspired by like all the colors.
Wow.
And all of that.
That's impressive. I don't think I know that many people who can just see something and just say, you know what, impulsively, this is what I want to do. I'm just going to do that. It's okay. You know, because you live in a van together with your boyfriend. Yeah. And what's that like?
I definitely love it. Yeah.
The freedom.
Yes, definitely the freedom, and we can like travel. Right now, we were supposed to be traveling in Europe, but we need to travel in Norway for another year.
Okay.
So the plan was to travel in Norway for 1 year and then go to Europe the next year. But like Norway has so much to like discover, and we like to run in the mountains and discover new places. So
do you get your inspiration from outdoor?
Yeah. Not necessarily like what I see, but just my mind feels so much more open when I'm outside. And then I just get ideas. Okay, I want to make this thing, or picture thing in my mind.
How do you know when you've made? Because the picture we're seeing right here, right now, is something that this is one of your releases, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Back in the day. And then, of course, if you pull up the picture that sold out, the very first picture on the screen, and then you released this, and all of a sudden it was like sold out.
Yeah, crazy.
I mean, for an artist who's been in the game for a couple of years, and to put out something and it sells out, you know.
Yeah.
What did that do to you? How did you feel? Did you feel like, yes, I'm here now?
I definitely felt like very happy with it. I had like a dream to be able to like sell out after a release. So I definitely felt like, I achieved a goal when I did it.
Is the pressure on?
Like now?
Yeah.
I would like never take it for granted that something will sell out really quickly, because I can never know.
Exactly.
Yeah, it depends.
That's what I'm saying. You never know what's going to strike a chord with a person when you put it out.
Yeah.
But then again, when you're 3 years into the game, you know, one would still think like, someone said one time that your first 100 paintings are bad. You know, I heard that, and that kind of broke my heart actually, because that was pretty scary to hear, you know, because sometimes you make some things and you're so proud of yourself and you say, yes, this is some good shit I just made, and for it to sell out too, which means it gives me that kind of like gratification that I'm ready to get into the game. But when you're that early in the game and you sell out, like, not sell out, but if you sell out the piece, do you feel like, because I feel like people don't give artists the chance to grow. You know, you can see it in music too. Do you feel like when you make another piece, does it have to look like the last piece you made?
No, I feel like the people that are like following me and stuff like that, I think they will understand that I need to figure out what style I want to do and try different things. And also maybe I will make things that I don't like, but I think people will like understand, and I will think that about other artists. If I don't like everything they make, that's a good thing, because they need to try different things, and yeah, everybody can't like everything you make.
No,
and I wouldn't want that.
No,
I want to
sense.
make things that don't everybody like.
That makes sense, because when you made the penguin, it was a penguin facing 3 different directions, right?
Yeah.
And I believe they came out at the same time.
Yeah.
Right. I feel like that was a super risky move to make, because I was thinking, man, I believe that was why I started having more respect for you to just like do that, because what most artists will do sometimes is, especially when you're early in, is just like drop the first one.
Yeah.
See what happens.
Yeah.
And then drop another one. Did anybody tell you like, don't make that move, or was something you had to do?
No, I didn't know.
Okay.
So maybe someone would told me that, and I would be like, okay, that sounds smart. But I just thought, yeah, I'm just gonna try and see how it goes. So
that's some impressive. That's some impressive shit, for sure. But when you create art at that level, does it still feel like you're finding yourself? Like, because you never know. It looks so good, and you think to yourself like, man, she's found her thing. Especially when it's a triptych in 3 in a row at the same time. Do you feel like you're still trying to find your strokes when you paint?
Yeah, definitely. And as you said, like you need to make 100 paintings. Yeah, then I have a couple more to go before I need to have it figured out.
How do you know which paintings don't get to come out?
It's just based on my feelings, really. Or also I can talk to friends, and maybe the gallery I'm in will ask them what they think. But I like that I can make a lot of decisions based on my feelings. So if it gives me like the right feeling, I will post it or have a launch, and yeah.
Okay. Because I've seen on your Instagram, it's like a bunch of pictures there, of course.
Yeah.
And I was saying to myself, like, well, I don't think these are releasing, but this one is going to release,
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure it's probably a way for you to like show your fans or your followers that you're actually very active and still in the art game, testing your skill set.
Yeah.
But one question I'm going to ask is this. I know one of your inspirations, or at least 2 of your inspirations, are Dolk, the legendary Dolk, and Banksy.
Yeah, absolutely.
But when I see your work, though, it doesn't even show, because when we say Dolk, we know it's a Dolk. When we say Banksy, we know it's a Banksy. Like if we pull up a couple of pictures on the screen, for example, we have this picture, and then we have this one. If you look at the 2 pictures first, we can see some kind of similarities here. And then we'll pull up the next picture after this one. There you go. And because what I mean is, when we if we go on the streets of Bergen, for example, and we see these things, when you see the 2 first pictures, you can be like, okay, that's a Siri Røiseth right there, And then the 3rd picture comes up, and it's really not that easy to tell, because there we can see hints of your colors coming in, even though you're obviously representing the gay pride movement there.
Yeah.
Is this something you do on purpose, or is it you're just trying to experiment and find stuff?
Yeah, I think, I'm still figuring out like what style I have, and I definitely think it's a good thing when like you have something that does so people can like recognize you. Like
a signature, right?
Yeah, signature or something. So it's something I'm like working on, but I love to try. Right now, I think the right thing for me is to like try different styles and just like practice. I need like to practice more on painting, drawing, everything.
Okay.
and different styles. So
When you're painting, are you guided by emotions, or are you guided by culture, as in what's going on in society right now? Does that affect you? Does that affect your style?
yeah, because that's
moments?
what I think about. Like maybe something I've seen on the news or something that I've heard people talk about.
Yeah.
So that's definitely part of what is like going on in my mind when I have new ideas.
Okay. But do you like stick to, say, for example, the Black Lives Matter movements, of last year? I'm pretty sure you put out some things on your Instagram. Is this something that you start to do? Because I'm just trying to understand like mindsets, when you're in the process, and you see something that reflects or something that speaks to you in media, and then you start painting. Do you end up, let's say, for example, it's not trending anymore, like, for example, when the Black Lives Matter movement was on, everyone was on it, and it was what it was, Do you, or any other kind of movements for that matter?
Yeah.
Do you finish the painting nonetheless and just put it out and say, this is what I painted during that moment, and this is what it was? Or do you just say, you know what, I'm done with this?
Yeah, definitely think it's more important to do things when it's not like trending
Right,
anymore.
right.
Of course.
Right.
So, if I've started a painting because something was going on in the news and the focus isn't there anymore, of course I want to enlighten it again with posting about it. Or I think that is actually a very positive thing, to maybe do things when it's like trending, but also afterwards.
Yeah. Which is more exciting? Like what's trending, or what's in culture, or emotions? Which will you choose if you had to choose one of the two mediums per se to go into? Is it something you feel? Do you paint by something you're feeling right now, like spontaneously, or
Haven't really thought about it. Maybe a mix.
a mix?
Yeah.
Nah, because a lot of artists I see, like, for example, you live in a van, and when you live in a van, you get to move around. And when you move around, you get to see things.
Yeah.
Do you give into your emote? Like, do you feel like, oh, I felt this when I was here, maybe in Portugal or something.
Yeah.
And you decide to make an art piece out of that emotion.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I have a lot of emotions, so that is a big part of me. Yeah.
Of course, as an artist, I get that.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think. Yeah.
Talk us through this penguin. What were you thinking at the time when you made that one? It's kind of, I need to know, or we need to know, actually.
Yeah, I was just playing around with colors, and I wanted like the penguin is a little bit angry.
Okay.
I was just playing around, and then I came up with the background, and I was like, okay, that looks really cool. And then I wanted to have the penguin, because I was like in a very penguin part of me.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say, is that you see things from the outside, and it comes into your impulses just take over, and you just like paint it like that. So you pretty much were in a place there were a lot of penguins, and
I wanted to make penguins, and now it's a bit more like I want to make other things as well, or maybe only other things.
Right, because that's what I'm trying to say, is that I feel like society sometimes does not let people grow. It's like music, for example. If you hear, say, a song by your favorite artist that you really enjoyed, and then years along the line, the artist makes something totally different from what you just heard the last time. I feel like society now goes on and says things like, oh, we want to hear the old tracks. And it's the same thing with, I feel like it's the same thing with...
It probably is, yeah. But I think like my closest friends, they will understand, and maybe, I don't know, I think a lot of people will understand also, but then again, it's no fun if I posted something I don't like.
Yeah,
of course, they want me to make things that I like, but hopefully they will let me grow.
Did you have any formal training for painting? Like, because when you started, when you do what you call it, DGA, right?
Yeah.
Digital.
Graphic art. Yes,
right?
It's like mixed media.
Exactly, mixed media. Exactly. Yeah. Did you go through that phase like thoroughly and say, okay, cool, now I'm ready to do this, or did you just something you just woke up one day and said, okay, I'm just going to pick this up?
Yeah, when I did the study in illustration, we worked on different techniques and paintings and stuff like that. But I think I'm learned most by just painting and just maybe I look online and I like some style and see something I like and I try to find out how can you paint like that. So just like a lot of practicing.
Just practice a lot.
Yeah. That's the best thing.
Christ.
Yeah. So
how
like
long
if
do
you can practice
for?
every day.
Like what's your typical Siri Roiseth practice session?
Maybe like a typical day. So maybe like after dinner and the rest of the night, I really like to just paint and listen to podcasts and just be in my groove.
that's crazy, like, because I mean, I was just thinking about you in a van, and for those who don't know who Siri is, it's amazing because she lives in a van with her boyfriend, and if you go on her Instagram, you can actually see pictures of her showing you how to maneuver your way through a super tiny space, you know, and still make it functional. Yeah,
it's very like comfortable, and I wouldn't do it if it was like no good.
No, I can imagine because someone like you, it's inspiring to talk to you because, of course, we're talking about the arts right now, but we're going to get into something much deeper than that in a bit, and it's because a lot of people work jobs they hate. You know, but at the same time, they have other goals and dreams and aspirations that they would love to do. But like I said early on, you got bills to pay. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Did you how did you, because you've been doing this now for how long?
1 year.
1 year, right?
Yeah, like in 2 days, it's exactly 1 year.
Right, it's not even a year yet, you know, and then you're still in it and you live 100% of your art, which sounds super crazy to me right now still.
Yeah, it is crazy to me as well.
Do you get scared?
Well, it is a lot of like uncertainty, but I don't feel like scared. I feel like I've done the right thing, and
because a lot of artists go into these things, and you know they're really good at what they do, you know, obviously, but they just don't get the right. Okay, I wouldn't say opportunity because I don't really think that's what it is. They just get the same offers, you know, like maybe you got or some other people, you know, and maybe because they're scared to just push through, you know. But I was just thinking sometimes, do you ever have this feeling like, what if this doesn't work out? Like, what have I done? You know, do you... Like,
the worst thing that can happen is that I don't sell, like, anything anymore. But, okay, then I have to go back to work.
What do you mean work? Like, go back to... All right. That's okay, that's a fair answer.
Yeah, so it's like I don't have to be afraid.
Okay. Do you live life on a budget?
Yeah, I mean, I have to like watch my economy, and I think it's better for me when I don't spend a lot. And also when you live in a van, like what should I spend money on? I can't have the like big sneaker collection. You know?
Right. No, I do not know what you're talking about. What about, because a lot of artists I see, they put out work and nothing happens, you know, and this is a great body of works, you know, but most of them end up doing what you call commissions. Yeah. Mm. Do you do a lot of those, or are you still in that phase where you don't think you need it yet? Yeah, I want to do, like, if I got an offer to do maybe like big paintings and something like that, I would love to. And after I studied illustration, I got like commissioned work from maybe friends of my friends. Right. Because it's not like you can go on Finn and like find a lot of jobs. No. So it was like really difficult because after I studied illustration, I really wanted to be able to like do more
artist things, but it was very difficult.
Okay.
So it was like after I posted artwork online.
But wait. When you say it's difficult, I need you to get more into that. Actually,
Yeah.
like describe difficult. What do you mean it was difficult? Was it like? Is this like it's so hard to get into a business of this nature, or
Yeah,
was it financially rewarding?
yeah, like a mix of all those things, because I knew it wasn't a lot of jobs as an illustration artist, for example. I remember in school our teacher told us it is actually not that many people that can live only from doing like illustration work.
How does the teacher know this?
The teachers?
Yeah.
I don't know. But then, of course, it makes you think, okay, so that will be difficult. Yeah.
Wow. No, because when people go to school, like you said, I'm going to jump on that too, because when people go to school to study and you're going to study illustration, which obviously is not that easy to do, or it's fun to do anyways. And then your teacher says, there's not that many people, who get a job out of this. I mean, that's one of the things is like, I feel like sometimes teachers just, I mean, of course, I love teachers, even if for them, we're not going to learn a lot. That makes a lot of sense, but when the teacher says something like, it's not a lot of people who get a job in illustration, what did you feel at the time?
Yeah, I was a bit disappointed.
In the teacher or in the job sector
Yeah,
itself?
the job set, like...
Did you expect more? Did you think like, when I finish this, I'm going to just...
Yeah, it would be good to like learn how to be able to work with it, but maybe it wasn't that many opportunities. But I would definitely like advise if some people like have paintings or artwork, like just try to sell it online, because I mean, I wouldn't, before I did it, of course I knew I could do it, but I just thought, what's the point? Like, I didn't know that people I didn't know wanted to buy my artwork. So I wasn't really like thinking, okay, should I just like try to post it online? Why? But I'm very happy that I tried.
Wow. How long did it take before someone actually bought it?
I think it was like maybe the same weekend or something like that. So that was very crazy. And of course, that was like big compliment. So it gave me more motivation to make more and post more online.
The first weekend?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It felt so weird. I can remember so strongly when like I went to the post office with like my artwork and my boyfriend taking picture and me being super happy. So yeah, it was crazy, and it still is very crazy that people like want things I make on their wall.
So you go from illustration. You had 2 years of illustration.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
And then, of course, all these things happen. I'm not sure, it's difficult, this and this. And then you went into international marketing.
Yeah.
When you were studying international marketing at BAE,
was
there something inside of you that was saying like, hey, this is not what I want to do?
Yeah, I think like first I studied international marketing, and then I really didn't know what I wanted to, like what is the right job for me, and so it just seemed like an okay thing to do. And I think like marketing is very like the mindset, why do people buy things and what happens in your head and like all that things, like psychological things. So it is like a part of my interests, and now I actually get to use it because marketing is quite important, I feel.
Have you ever sold any of your pictures outside Norway?
It was no, not really.
Why do you think that is? I mean, given what we're looking at and given the things you've sold, one would think that okay, this should be an easy sell outside of the country.
Yeah.
But here you are saying not really. Is that because it's not being marketed outside, or is it because people from outside are just not looking in to Bergen for art? Maybe
both, but I haven't, like my goal now is to target people in Bergen and Norway, and maybe like later I want to maybe try and see if I can like reach people in other countries as well, because that would be so awesome. But I feel the right thing for me to do is to like start like in Bergen, and then see and learn things along the way, how to do marketing for my art.
So you come from Österrike, you end up in Bergen, so you come from Österrike and you study illustration.
Yeah.
I like to do this little wrap-ups with people when I'm talking to them, by the way, so we can follow like a timeline and see where we're going with this. So you do illustration, you study that, and then you go to international marketing, and now you live in a van and you're living 100% out of your art.
Yeah.
One thing I also notice is that when you decide to make these kind of decisions, especially in a field where there's not that many women, how does that make you? I need to understand that, because I feel like women always like, they see things differently. I feel like women see things clearly, to be honest, than men do. But why do you think there's not that many women in this profession?
That's a very interesting question. I mean,
don't get me wrong. There are women in the profession, so people don't kill me and think But the more of it, when I go into it more, I see it's mostly men.
Yeah.
I see in it. Why do you think that is?
Like, I'm not really sure, and I haven't thought about it like that much.
You just went straight into it.
Yeah, I feel very like welcome, and
yeah, of course.
I think it's an like advantage that I'm a woman. Maybe. Yeah, I think it's a good thing, but no, I'm not sure why it's more men than women, like in the art world.
Because here you are, you put out pictures, you put out paintings, and then they sell out. No, not sell out. You sell your first painting on the first weekend, and then you put out a collection, or a print, and then that sells out, And I was thinking to myself, like, well, maybe, and there are obviously other artists, female artists, who do the same thing. I've seen that happen a couple of times in this city and outside the city, of course. But then again, it's like one would think that, wow, maybe women actually figured this out more than the men have. But when look at the demographic and you look at the system and how it's built, it's a male-dominated line of work or occupation per se. I just wanted to highlight that because I'm kind of fascinated at that, because I love your work. And one of the reasons I love your work is because you're pretty much one of the few people I know who likes to play with colors. There's not that many artists I see who like really go on the playful side with the colors. Is this something you did on purpose, or?
I definitely love to be like surrounded by colors, and like a fun fact about me is I'm actually a little bit colorblind.
Okay.
Like a little bit. So maybe I was thinking, okay, maybe so I need brighter colors for me to like really feel it. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I feel it stands out because when we see your work, it's always like, even though we don't see your signature, in terms of repetition, it's not your style.
Yeah.
I can still look at it and be like, that's a Siri Roiseth for sure. But do you ever get the pressure and be like, I need to change my style or be more aggressive maybe? Or not aggressive, but should I be less playful? Do you ever feel that sometimes?
No, I don't think so. No, because I get like positive feedback, and like I'm happy when I use like a lot of colors. So yeah, I don't feel like it's a pressure to.
But what if you were in a bad mood?
Yeah, then
what happens then?
Then I will probably paint like with darker colors, and I would say the picture I'm working on now are a bit darker maybe.
Okay, all right. Why is that? Why is that?
I think it must be like the mood and
because
like
normally in your van
and
you're driving around, right?
Yeah.
You see things. You see a lot of
dark colors.
but now you find yourself stuck in a place somehow. Not stuck, but you're restricted from doing the things you normally do, which is driving around outside the country and seeing other vibes and other style and everything. But now you're here, and of course the pandemic for sure.
Yeah.
You think that's influencing your mindset, maybe?
Yeah, I think so. I definitely. And like this winter, it's easier to live in the van during the summertime because then it's so much easier to just wake up and go outside and just relax wherever. But now, like sometimes we are stuck in a car maybe for like the 5th day in a row and it's raining and stormy outside, so we are not able to like go for walks and things. So then maybe I will paint something dark. You know,
because I've seen one of your dark paintings, and I must say I really liked it. I really liked it, and I saw it and I said to myself, "Wow, what is this? You know, this is like so unlike you." And I can say this is so unlike you because it actually is like you to do different things. You know, someone said to me that the absence of structure might just be the structure itself, you know, where people don't have to think about it. So where it looks to the viewer, it looks like, oh, what are you doing now? You know, this is not what you did before.
Yeah.
But what people don't understand is that you're just trying to find your voice, or at least find your way through art.
Yeah.
So when you decided that you were going to do this, what did your parents think? Did they say, don't do it, it's not safe? Or did they say, go for it, you'll be all right?
Yeah, they definitely are like supporting you mean when I went into art?
Yeah,
like,
when you quit your job, for example, were your parents supportive about it?
Yeah, my mom was like, will support me whatever what. And she was like, okay, so long as you have a plan, like you have thought things through, like with money and everything. So yeah, she supports me.
That's interesting, because I got to say, in Norway, I feel like, I got to be honest, I really got to be honest and say, Norwegian parents, they can be very supportive.
Yeah.
I'll definitely say that, because where I'm from, to make those kind of moves, you know, it's a scary thing, you know, because most of us, you know, we grew up in homes where our parents are usually like, hey, become a doctor or become a lawyer or become an engineer or do something that's safe, you know, so you don't have to worry about money. And then we never really do what we want to do because of that factor. But I feel like in Norway, the parents here, man, they're like, ja, du kan bare være forsiktig, og så kan du gjøre hva du vil. I got to ask you about when you got to be at Gategalleriet, because that's where you are, together with Christer Holm.
Yes.
How did that even happen? Tell us through how did you get that?
Yeah, I feel like very fortunate to be there. And Christer is like, he can help me with everything. I have question about how to set like prices or like everything. And the first thing that happened was he like liked some of my photos. Okay. So I still have like a screenshot, because I was, oh my God, Gategalleriet is liking my photos. And then he wrote to me if I had thought about being in a gallery. And I was replying like, yes, that's my dream. And then we had a meeting, and I showed him some of my prints. I think we both felt that it was like...
So he got in touch?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I know you definitely can like ask galleries also, and maybe bring some of your work and show them, and that is, you can also do that if you want to be like in a gallery. Just ask.
I'm talking to you right now, and the way I'm listening to your stuff is like, it just seems like everything is falling into place. You know, because there's not many artists who release their first work or sell their first painting in the first weekend. They show something and, hey, I want to buy that. Yeah. You know, or sell out a release, you know, or end up in the gallery just, you know, and you're not even 1 year in.
Yeah. It happens really fast. It's so crazy.
No, but do you think, because the thing is, I always ask people is, do you think it's going too fast? Do you think so sometimes? Do you think sometimes you just want to just like, okay, let me just chill for a second and see what's going on? Or do you just continue pushing on like that?
Yeah, I think I definitely like reach big goals, like be able to live from what I do and like sell out and things like that. But and it has happened very fast. So maybe like there are things I still need to figure out, like signature style and things like that.
Right.
But no, I think people also can like be with me on my journey to figure out things. I think it's okay that it has been like going really fast, and I still can have like big goals. And
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
What's your big goal?
I'm not sure, but I'm not actually sure.
Okay, so you just like taking it as it comes and see what happens.
Yeah, but I definitely need like a big goal. I just need to figure it out. But now I'm very happy with how things are. Of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. I will be happy too. Because I got to ask, you came in literally, so in other words, you came in around Corona.
Yeah. I quit my job like in the like 1st of March. And like we didn't know that much about Corona then.
No.
And I have had an exhibition at the 11th of March. So that was just so lucky that it went through, so lucky. And I've been working so like hard for that and making a lot of new paintings and everything. And the day after, Norway shut down. And also then we had like rented out our apartment from May. So we knew we had to stay in a car, but we didn't know like, do we have to stay in a car outside the apartment for months? So yeah, I didn't know about Corona when I quit my job. And if I knew, maybe I wouldn't dare.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? That's what I'm thinking, because it's like, this is the things we're talking about, because when we see things, like I'm a kind of person, I love social media, of course, you know, but at the same time I hate it. I have this love-hate relationship with social media, you know, and it's just interesting to note now, because you actually quit your job right before Corona kicked in. Yeah. Right?
Literally days before.
And you didn't know about Corona, which is insane to me, because now you're saying, because now we can say, if you knew about Corona, you're not quitting that job just yet, right?
No, maybe not, because it would be too much uncertainty. It wouldn't be like...
Yeah, but isn't that, but then again, that's what I'm saying. Like, how do you feel? Like, because if you think about it, it's pretty much, if you don't create, you don't eat. You know what I mean? As in, now you have to like, okay, step up the game and let's do some art stuff. Of course, we live in the van, which is kind of great, because that helps you save a lot of money, which is kind of inspirational, actually, when I think about it now.
Do it.
It is super inspirational. I'm not going to say this out loud, but it's kind of, I envy you a little bit, you know. I would love to live on the van myself, just drive around and do stuff. But I got 3 kids and...
Buy a big bus.
But no, I don't think that's going to help me out much with those kids. No, but it's the thing, because a lot of people in the pandemic, you know, they started to panic and started to worry about what they were going to do with money, and how are they going to spend their time, how are they going to, you know, what are they going to do next, you know. But here you are, literally just quit your job a couple of weeks, or even days before Corona. And then there you are. Did you panic at first? And you had an exhibition on the 11th of March last year. Yeah. Did you panic? Did you say, holy shit, is this going to work out?
I think it's like part of the van life way of thinking. You just have to take one day of the time and just see, like, everything depends on the weather and So I don't tend to plan that much. So maybe then it's also easier to not panic. But of course I was so scared, like everybody else. I was like crying and I was so scared, of course. But
well, how did you manage did you say to yourself, this is going to work out? This has to work out. Did anybody come and say, "No, Siri, listen, don't worry about it. This is going to be fine"?
Yeah, I can't remember what I was thinking, but like probably I just thought, okay, but I will just try, and yeah, like we can live in the van, and we saw that okay, so we can travel a little bit. Like we've been mostly 2 places last year, so not to travel too much and all that, and we can like stay in the car for a week and then go to the store once a week, so it's not that like dangerous. But yeah.
Financially speaking, did you think like, you know, I just quit my job, I'm ready to do something, you know, I'm ready to pursue my dreams, and all of a sudden a pandemic hits me.
Yeah.
You know, do you say to yourself like, fuck, as in, oops, sorry. Did you say to yourself like, damn, the universe is against me at this point? You know, did you say, did I just make a bad move here? The uncertainties, of course.
Yeah. Well, when I was like still able to like be creative, and maybe people still like bought my art, then I got like motivation every day to continue, and it didn't feel like the wrong decision. So I don't think I have like thought that I've made the wrong decision yet. But of course, like hard days will come, and has also been. But like there are moments, like for example now when we are in Bergen, we live at my mom's, and she has like really tiny apartment, like really like 1 bedroom. Okay. So when me and my boyfriend are there, she have like a small sofa. So we have like 1 night each that we can sleep on the sofa, and one of us has to sleep on the table. So like,
okay. That's interesting to hear, because you're coming out from a van, and all of a sudden you're saying you're living in a tiny apartment.
Yeah, no, when we are in Bergen.
When you're in Bergen, of course, you know. But I got one question I got to ask. When did you discover Dolk?
Maybe I like knew his art before I learned more about him. But yeah, like just walking around in Bergen and you see his artwork, and it's really cool.
Because a lot of people say things about how, I think I said this to you before, how invisibility is a superpower.
Yeah.
And I think Banksy said that.
Yeah.
And Dolk, of course, was not visible to society up until 2018.
Yeah.
You know, he went 15 years without anybody seeing his face.
Yeah.
And Banksy, we still don't know what he looks like. You know, do you think in today's society right now, given the state of social media, and I think there's some artists who also do that too, maybe Pöbel, maybe, because I don't know what he looks like myself, but
me neither.
I've seen a lot of his work.
Yeah.
Do you think this is a good thing that we can't see the artist?
I think it makes things very like interesting, because okay, you love this art piece and nobody know who made it. So like that is really cool, and you get just fascinated by that, and so that is like really cool thing. And I thought about it a lot when I made like the first street art pieces, and I hadn't like signed it yet. So it actually took like maybe weeks or months before I signed it, because I needed to like decide, okay, do I want to like show my face of that work, or what do I want to do? What is like the right thing to do? And yeah, it's really difficult. Like, how would you know? But I ended up like.
What made you make that decision?
It was like a feeling based on, I talked to people, I talked to the gallery, and tried to like learn more, and listen to people that has been in the game, and yes, like you said, maybe with like social media and everything, it is people want to maybe get to know people a bit more, so that can be like a positive thing. So I was going for that direction, but I don't know, maybe it would be better to be
faceless.
Yeah.
And now, is this because social media, to me, a lot of people say things about how social media is a good tool to promote what people do. And I agree to some extent. I agree. And I think personally you made a good decision to show yourself, because you create this on that platform anyways, you create this like a personal connection with your fans and your followers.
Yeah.
You know, and of course it's even good to see a woman, you know, like empower or embody this role of a street artist, because it's not often I see it. I mean, I've been in Norway for a long. My introduction to street art was here in Norway, and I never saw any. You know, but the thing is, I knew most of these guys in the background. I knew who they were doing these things, you know, on the streets. I was friends with most of them, you know,
cool.
And they were all guys.
Yeah.
You know, and I started saying to myself, like, man, it would be nice if a woman just popped out of nowhere and just like, you know, shows up and does her thing. Because I actually know another lady in the city who does the same thing. I don't want to say her name right now because I'm guessing maybe she doesn't want us to know.
Maybe you can tell me afterwards. Like their street art name or whatever.
Yeah, I'll tell you later when the cameras are off. I don't want to say it right now. But how do you see art? What's art to you? What does it mean to you?
It's difficult. Like who decides what is art and what is not art?
I mean, what's your connection with art? How does it make you feel when you do it? What does it give you spiritually and otherwise?
It's a difficult question. It's like I have like all these ideas inside of my head, and I just want to like make things, and I think like my voice is through like painting and making art. Right. So, I feel like I can use my voice if it's like something I care much about and things that are going on.
So you communicate better through art than you do through talking. So a lot of artists do like that. I see most times is that they can tell you a lot of information through their work rather than telling you about it. And which makes it perfect for me to say this now, because a lot of, and I will speak on behalf of, I would say, well, minorities, to be honest, is one of the reasons why you're here too, is because you're someone who just, decided, all right, I'm going to go to school, I'm going to do this, and then we'll get a job. And then you know what? I don't want to do this job. I want to do what I want to do. Yeah. And you're Norwegian, right? And a lot of times I see where us foreigners or minorities, you know, I feel like we're in that same mindset. And sometimes we think that it's just us that happens to. And I actually tell people like, no, it happens to a lot of Norwegians too, who actually just say, let me just do my thing. Yeah. And I said, all right, let's talk to an artist who's doing her thing, who quit her job and went for it. Yeah, of course, I understand people would say things like, yeah, but she's Norwegian, you know, we get that, you know, but I wanted to draw the interesting parallels here of being scared, you know, to say, okay, I'm not doing this job anymore. Yeah. I want to go do that. Yeah. Like I tell people, I studied chemistry, you know, and I said, you know, I don't want to do that anymore. And it's scary as hell. Yeah. For sure. Yeah. You know. When you went to university to study, is that the only thing you decided to study, or was there something else you thought you would do instead of doing that?
No, I think at the time it felt right to, definitely illustration. When I found out that I could study that, I was so happy. And with the marketing, it was like, okay, I'm not sure what job I want to have.
Well, how did you end up how did you end up from illustration to marketing? How did that happen?
I think I took some tests online, what is the right job for me, and I got some ideas out of that. Okay. And also I knew I was interested in what is going on in the mind, and marketing is a big part of that also.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. You know, because it's just, I wanted to know, because I felt like when people do, and not to repeat myself or anything, I'm just trying to see if you had other opportunities, other things to go for, and say, okay, let me do illustration, and then maybe further my studies in illustration, you know, or did you pre-illustration, did you say, okay, let me go to nursing instead, or let me go to engineering or something, or did you just were you so sure that this is what I want to do?
No, I wasn't sure, but I don't remember what was like the alternatives either.
Okay.
But I feel like it's something that has always been there since I've always loved to draw. And also my father, he had his own company.
There we go. All right.
Yeah, so he was an inventor.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, so he was like also using his mind and yeah.
Okay.
So maybe that is something also that had made me come into art in the end.
So your dad was like an inspiration of sorts?
Yeah, maybe, like, I haven't thought about it, but like see him have his own company and yeah, so I think so.
Huh. That's interesting. Wow. No, because that's the thing. Because I think sometimes you look at these things and you know they run in the family in a way, but you don't really pay attention to it. You just wake up in the morning and you say, okay, you think you're making conscious decisions of your own.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's in your DNA.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, oh, well, actually my dad did that. So it makes more sense for me to do that. When do we get to see a Siri Roiseth's exhibition at this point? You think that's going to happen?
Actually, I'm going to have an exhibition at Fløyen in May or April. In the middle of April it starts until May. So that will be like my next solo exhibition.
When you say Fløyen, do you mean like...
On the top.
At the top?
Yeah.
How did this idea come about?
It was Gategalleriet that like fixed it, and they have one artist every month now at Fløyen. So they have had it since last year. So yeah, it's different artists that are having an exhibition on the top of Fløyen, like in the store. There.
Oh right,
Yeah.
I thought maybe you're gonna be like outside. Just
No.
I mean, I was thinking, hey, I mean, if that's how artists want to do, then do their thing. I'll show up. I'll check it out and we'll take that long trip. I've been pushing for a while to go to Fløyen.
Yeah.
How do you decide your when you make an art piece, for example? How do you decide how much it is going to cost? Your price
like in the
range.
beginning, yeah, I had the prints were cheaper, and like it cost me money. Even like if I sold them, I didn't earn anything. But I think it was like a good way to start, because in the beginning I was so happy then when people wanted to like actually have something that I have made. It was okay that I didn't earn anything. And then I put the price up a little by little, but I didn't really know what was the right thing to do. And then I met Chris there at Gategalleriet, and then he could like help me with, okay, so you need to have like maybe better quality like paper and everything, and this price is like right for you to have in the beginning. So yeah, I get like help with figuring out all that now.
Do you think?
But it's difficult, like, to know, like how. Yeah.
Right? How do you exactly? It's like I see something artwork and I say it's going for 5,000 kroners or something like that. And the other one is going for 20,000 kroners, and
Yeah.
And then I see some artwork which are super nice, and even they speak to me more. And I'm looking at this price, and it's 800 or 900 kroners or something. And sometimes you have to wonder, as a new and up and coming artist into the game, and you're making something, who decides the price ranging?
Yeah.
You do it yourself, and it must be really scary too, because then you don't really know if you're making any money at all in the beginning.
Yeah.
Anyways, but
Yeah.
do you see yourself like in the near future saying, okay, you know what, now I'm going to raise the prices on these things?
Like maybe little by little, but definitely no like a big jump or anything. But if the demand still is there, I think I will like put up the price, maybe just a little bit. maybe once a year or
Yeah.
something like that.
But doesn't it depend on the piece you're making too? I mean,
Yeah, of course, like the size and
Right.
yeah, everything, and how many copies. Like if I make one by one, it can cost more than if I make 30 or yeah. So that is also something.
exactly. You know, because I feel like when you make a limited
Yeah.
amount of something,
Yes.
and it's something that looks pretty good,
Yeah,
I feel like sometimes you should be allowed to say, all right, let me raise the prices here, because God knows when your next,
yeah,
you know, sold out
Yeah.
piece is going to be.
Exactly.
And these are things I think about in terms of people who are just trying to figure out what to do with, you know, with art. Because a lot of people come in there and they sell themselves short.
Yeah.
Just because they want to, you know, they just want to put their names out there, and then they make a really dope art piece, and it's like, oh, 800 kroners, because they're not sure
Yeah,
if someone
it's
will
very
pay.
difficult.
Right. You know, because in this industry, we always say things like, you determine your own value.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
as
also
in,
something.
if something is worth 10,000 kroners, it's 10,000 kroners.
Yeah.
But don't do that yet. You know?
No.
we can't afford 10,000 kroners. But tomorrow or a couple of days, you are releasing something.
Yes.
Right?
I have a release coming up the 2nd of March.
2nd of March.
Yes, 12 o'clock.
Okay. Can we see the last picture, please? Right. So, run us through this piece we're looking at right now.
It actually started as a challenge. I was just challenging myself in drawing like different things and make different things, and I was like choosing words to put together, and I was deciding I want to make an infected bat, and then I thought about it, and I came up with the idea, and I liked it, and I posted it, and people seemed to like it also. So I worked more with it and found like what background I wanted to have and all that.
Where did the bat idea come from?
Of course, it's like we all heard where Corona started. Like
Right,
some
right.
people ate bat meat. I'm not sure if that is true though.
Sounds super weird, but okay. Like, I don't know why anyone would do that, but sure, you know, yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's good. I don't know.
So, because what we said was art is a reflection of culture and or the times, you know, and then you're releasing something that says eat and and not bats.
Yeah.
You know. So in other words, it was inspired by the pandemic.
Yeah, absolutely. And also like maybe motivation to eat less meat. Like it can also be
okay.
something with that, like animal welfare.
Are you vegan?
No.
Right. So it's well, it was yeah, okay. So then you started the piece and you said to yourself, this is nice, this is cool,
Yeah,
this is something
yeah.
I would love to.
Yeah, I really care about animal welfare also. So that can also be like part of the meaning behind the piece.
And where can we buy this piece?
At my online store, Siri Roiseth.no, and also Gategalleriet on the 2nd of March.
2nd of March is
Yes,
coming out.
Gategalleriet and at my store.
Okay. Right. Because I think you posted this on your gram.
Yeah.
And then you were asking people to suggest a name.
Yeah.
For it.
Yeah, I love to do that. Like people are really getting into it, and yeah.
Is that a way to engage your followers, I guess?
Yeah, and I just love to hear. I feel like I get better names on my pieces when I ask for help. Like when I'm not sure of myself what I want to.
Wow, so you give the freedom to the fans to actually choose.
Yeah, and I really feel that they are helping me.
Yeah, I think they really feel connected to you that way.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a beautiful thing because whoever came up with that name, all of a sudden they feel like they're connected to the piece.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a beautiful marketing strategy right
Yeah.
there. And not just that, I think it's just being an overall human being who likes to connect with people. That makes a lot of sense. So is there do you feel like, so your last release was in March 2020, last year.
Yeah, my last release.
Your last
exhibition.
piece. you released, was it last year in March?
I think my last release was in November.
November
So I
last
had,
year, of course.
so I had some during the year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then a couple of months pass, and now you come up with a new one, which is in March this year. Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Do you time these things on purpose, or is it just something you feel like, okay, now is it time for me to put something out?
Yeah, I think one of my goals is to have maybe, if I'm able to have like 3 releases during the year, I think for myself that would be really good. But I can't like put too much pressure on myself. But and maybe like even if the piece is like all done, maybe I can time it to be at a certain time if I feel that is better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to ask you another question, and the question is this: like, do you ever feel sometimes where, when you say you're going to do something like this, is this something you always like said to yourself? Do you ever feel society doesn't understand artists? Because I feel like sometimes it's a way to show your emancipation or your liberation as a free-spirited human being. Did you ever get any backlashes back in the day? Like, do you feel different? Do you feel like, nah, I'm supposed to do my own thing?
I feel like I get a lot of support, and so I don't know. I don't feel like that has been a problem maybe for me, but I feel like people are like sharing on me, and also me for being like woman and having my own business and all that. So I feel like they are supporting me.
Because a lot of people in this thing I see are coming from a space where, you know, like you said, you express yourself better when you paint.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now that's understandable, you know. And sometimes I think about it and it's like, oh, maybe when they come up in spaces where they weren't expressing themselves, you know, so they turn to art instead.
Yeah.
You know, I know a bunch of kids I work with who would rather make music than get into a conversation type thing,
awesome.
you know.
Yeah.
Did you ever go through any of that kind of stuff when you were younger, or is art just something you're like, hey, I could just do that?
It feels really good to be able to like express myself when there are like things I care about. I can't like think of a situation where I thought like, but yes, definitely feel like very good to maybe have in the beginning of like finding my own voice.
Right.
That is like a big thing for me.
Right. So if you're going to give any advice to anyone who's trying to get into this game, what would be the advice to them?
Okay, I would definitely just ask people for help.
Okay.
I mean,
okay, all right.
Like, just ask for what is like your best advice. And also, for me, it was just to post my artwork online. So just post it maybe on Finn or Thais, because like you can do it, and if nobody buys it, okay, who cares? But if like maybe you make your own shop and everything, then you will get, it will feel worse if like people don't like it or something like that. But I don't feel there's any pressure with just posting it on Finn and just see. So I would recommend that. So
you go with, so you make the work and you put it on Finn or some outlets.
Yeah.
Sell your own work pretty much.
Yeah, just try it.
What about Instagram? Is that also good?
I think it's more difficult because on Finn and Thais, that's like also, it's kind of like Finn.
Yeah, I heard about Thais.
Yeah. But, and also it's mostly for clothes. So it's not that much artwork there. And people are like in a buying mode. So on Instagram, maybe not that much, but when you are on Finn and Thais, you're like looking for things that you want to buy.
That you want to buy.
Yeah.
Wow.
So...
because it's this general thing where everyone is like, oh, let me get on Instagram, you know, that's where it's popping. I need to post this and post that and post that, you know. And I think it's actually great to hear you say what you're saying right now, that it's actually pretty difficult.
On Instagram. Yeah. I think I've had like my art Instagram account for many, many years. And nobody has asked me to buy anything before I posted it on like Thais and Finn. So yeah.
Okay.
And I think like Instagram is a part of everything, but it's not like the most important thing at all.
Thank you. Because it's good to hear this, because, you know, I tell people sometimes about Instagram and all that. Like I said, it's a good tool to use. We get it. It's nice. It's colorful. It's trendy.
Yeah.
Almost everyone is on Instagram, for God's sakes.
Yeah, everyone.
And it's great to hear you say that it's pretty difficult to do your thing on Instagram, because sometimes I feel like society makes it, some people don't post their failures, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
Instagram
always like, oh,
perfect.
look at me, I'm making this, I'm popping, you know, check me out, you know. And I always try to be reserved with my Instagram account by not going overboard, you know, sometimes, because people might get the wrong impression of a person.
Yeah.
And then you now say, as a person who does this for a living,
Yeah.
because there's not that many people who do this for a living, for sure. And you're telling us that, you know what, Instagram is cool to have, but it's just not the do you feel like the love is real sometimes? Like, do you feel like, because I feel like people just swipe and swipe and swipe. And
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, like, I try to not be, like, I try to use, like, different social media and have different things, and not to be, like, too focused on, for example, Instagram, because, yeah, like, is the love real? And so I think, like, Instagram is for inspiration, and maybe that's it. Like, okay, yeah, everything is perfect there, and like you said, so I think you should, like, have different channels and do different things as well, not just like Instagram and
Okay. Because I found you on Instagram.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
And I remember when I bought one of your art pieces called Space Lunch. I saw it and I said to myself, "That's fire. I need to have that now."
Thanks.
You know, and I went in there and I clicked on it. I've bought an art piece from you.
Yeah.
On Instagram.
Yeah, actually.
From Instagram. It was like super quick, super fast. Your mom actually delivered it and said, "Here you go." And I'm like, "Oh, thank you." You know, no, but I got to say, it's this thing. It's good to have you come out here and take time out of your busy schedule, especially when you have a release coming out in a couple of days, you know, and come talk to us about such things. It's not an easy thing to do, for sure. That's what I tell people, like, these things we do here is not an easy thing to do. And I just ever so grateful that people actually come out and say, "Hey, let's talk about this," and they shed more light on what they do. But before we let you go, I want to ask, what's the future looking like for City? What's anything popping, anything we, like, you know, should expect from you this year, or are you just taking it easy?
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to summer, or like better days in the van with more outside, and I'm looking forward to the exhibition at Fløyen. And first of all, I'm very excited about the print launch on the 2nd of March. So that's what I'm thinking about, like, now.
I can imagine. I can imagine. You know, it's what people don't understand is that when an artist is having like is launching something in a couple of days, that's the only thing they're thinking about. And I can relate with that. You know, when I'm releasing music, for example, myself, I get into that zone, and it's pretty much all I think about. You know. But hey, listen, thanks for coming out.
Thank you so much for inviting me here.
No, you're welcome, for sure. Looking forward to more of your work, definitely. And let us know if we can get the penguin, by the way. My girlfriend will be very happy if we can fix that. Thank you to everyone who's watching. We sat down here to talk about if it's easy to make a transition from your regular job to go to art. And obviously, on the whole, it's not that easy. And obviously, on the whole, you might need some luck, and you might need things to fall on in their place when they need to fall in their place. But at the same time, it doesn't mean you quit. At the same time, it doesn't mean you say, "Okay, you know what, we're done. We're not going to do this anymore." I mean, if it's something we love, we chase it and we try to get it as much as we can and do the best we can to get it, for sure. Next time on MoftMinds, which will be the 12th of March. 12th of March, we're going to be having the legendary T. Michael from Norwegian Rain come here and tell us about his journey as a tailor and as a designer in the city of Bergen, and of course Japan and Paris and you name it, and Oslo, of course, and how he's managed to get to the position he's at today. I'm looking forward to the conversation, and it's definitely one to check out for sure. I go by the name of Dorian's Grave, and some of you know me as Michael. It's been a pleasure hosting MoftMinds for the night. The city is opening up. Please be safe. Please be careful. We're still in the pandemic. Please wear your mask if you need to. And let's just get this whole thing over with and back to hopefully normal soonish. Have a nice weekend. Have a good night. Stay blessed and see you next time. Cheers.